So you kind of mentioned the Inflation Reduction Act, so maybe we can talk a little bit about that, because that's going to have some pretty major impacts this year and next year as well. So what would you say was kind of the intent of the Inflation Reduction Act as it was passed?
You know, there was a statistic from KFF, or Kaiser Family Foundation, kff.org, that you may want to look up and just do a search on Inflation Reduction Act, and an agent or broker or an agency, they can see some of the statistics that are out there. But I found it interesting that I think it was in the last 10 years, around 6 million seniors faced more than $2,000 out of pocket for their drug costs in a single year. And so those 6 million people are really going to benefit from the Inflation Reduction Act, because it's going to put a cap of $2,000 on their out-of-pocket costs. But with anything, the carrier has to now absorb that liability. And so there may be tens of millions of Americans that are now facing the impact of that regulation, or the Inflation Reduction Act, which is really legislation. They're going to have to cover that. And so we're hearing from carriers that we could see the benchmark premium for, say, a basic plan go up by at least 50%, maybe more, could be double. And it's possible that a Medicare supplement premium may equal a Part D premium in 2025, which will be a shock to seniors, especially in rural areas where they don't have even the Medicare Advantage as an option. So in September, when the ANOC letters come out to consumers, they may be facing some difficult choices. I expect there to be more shopping this year than ever before, because simply the drug costs, if you're on a Medicare supplement and a standalone Part D, you'll look at that ANOC letter and say, wow, can I really afford this? Maybe I better shop around. Maybe there's a better Part D plan for me. For those that are on a Medicare Advantage plan, Part D affects that too. And so the Inflation Reduction Act will have an impact on those plans. So I'm expecting to see a drawdown on extra benefits. Maybe instead of a $5,000 dental, maybe it's only a $1,000 dental. There's more levers, if you will, on Medicare Advantage where the carrier can absorb some of the impact. But we should expect that extra benefits will be much more watered down than they have been. It's up till now, every year, it seemed like it was getting better and better and better, to the point where agents were merchandising as opposed to selling insurance. And so I think a lot will return back to, why do you buy insurance? For the catastrophic impact of health, changes to your health. But expect to see the cost of doing business going up, because the agents won't have as many expenses paid for by others, despite they'll get additional revenue, from the CMS regulation, and expect the benefits to come down on Medicare Advantage. I think we'll be at a tipping point where 2024 would be the best products that you could ever buy. 2025 will be a little more return to reality, that some of that wasn't sustained, because the carriers also didn't get as much reimbursement as they were seeking. So you have a couple of headwinds. You have CMS regulations, you have the Inflation Reduction Act, and then you have the reimbursement rates that the carriers were hoping for more. We do have a heightened morbidity, and the carriers were able to demonstrate that to CMS, but they didn't get the extra reimbursement that they were hoping for. So I do expect watered down benefits for 2025. So as a result, this is going to be the busiest year ever for agents, and they're going to need tools. They're going to need the ability to work with their clients to solve for these needs. And that's where I think SMS is uniquely positioned.